All right, everybody, we have Fletcher Shryock today. He's our winner, a Geico Select winner today. Fletcher, congratulations on your big win today. You're now qualified to compete at the Cup level this fall. How do you feel about that?
Man, it's awesome. It's a great opportunity for me. Obviously, I'm not too far from here, so it's great for me to win the hometown event. Even though I don't know how beneficial it was, how much of an actual home field advantage I really had, but it's definitely special to be in that cup for sure.
Overall today, the bite was pretty slow out there. Did you know early in the day that you were going to have to maybe kind of grind it out a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I knew for sure that it was going to – I thought the morning might be kind of good, and then as the later the day got, I knew it was going to get tougher, and I just knew every single bite counted. And one thing that I did that maybe some of the guys didn't do, I try to stay with the numbers, where I kind of recognized quickly that the smallmouth bite was numbers, and there's a lot of small ones, but I could 12-ounce everyone to death. And I felt like down in the lower end, I didn't get enough bites down in the little bit of time I spent. I didn't think it would look like smallmouth water to me, and the bites were few and farther between. Now, they were bigger fish, but in MLF format, I was trying to cater to that. And I knew even at that, though, it was going to be a grind. And had I missed one of them bites, Wheeler might have snuck by. So, I knew it was going to be a grind. And I'm kind of used to that being from this part of the country. I'm used to going out there and grinding for, at times Ohio River 2 or 3 fish wins the whole tournament. So you're used to catching 12 inchers and making sure you're on point with everything you're doing. So, yeah, it was expected a little bit, and that helped me, I believe.
You had some pretty tough competition today, including Jacob Wheeler, Keith Poche, and Kevin Short. How does it make you feel to beat these guys?
It feels good. All those guys, everyone that we fished against, I fished against today was capable, definitely. But for me, it was just about getting into a roll and just worrying about me and figuring out how to catch the fish and trying not to get too caught up in who's doing what. Just try to figure out the fish and play my game to the best of my ability. It was really my main concern. But Wheeler sure scared me at the end, though. As expected, I figured that was going to happen. When he started catching them through the day, I was like, it's going to come down to the end with him because he's not going to let up. So
it must be difficult having an MLF boat official on the boat watching your every move you make. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it can be. I'm fishing the Bassmaster Elite Series. I'm kind of used to having someone watching my every move and things like that. So it's really not that big of an issue for me. I don't mind it.
Speaking of tournaments, how does this really differ from other tournament formats that you fish?
Man, it's kind of a different mindset. You don't think about it coming in, but like I mentioned earlier, this is an MLF format. Had I come here to fish this event to try to catch the 5 biggest fish I could have caught, I'd have fished completely different. I'd have probably have been on a different part of the lake, throwing maybe not, still fishing the Senko, but doing some different things. So it's all about strategy and trying to figure out how you can get the highest score on just catching keepers in MLF. I think is a thing you got to keep in mind. And also you can use the leaderboard in MLF to your advantage. Fishing the Bassmasters and standard tournaments, you don't know what the competition has all day, right? So you're kind of guessing. But here, all the time if the bite's slowing down, if you're falling behind, you kind of figure out you can help that, use that to your advantage. So that's one thing in the MLF. There's some things that can help you out too.
Were you nervous out there today?
I wasn't nervous. I actually just felt really comfortable all day. I really didn't expect to win, but I just felt comfortable fishing the way that I like to fish. I had total confidence in the baits I was throwing. I knew that coming in.
So how many baits did you throw, by the way?
I threw a handful of different things, but really there was one key bait and then one other bait I caught one real good one on. I caught one big one on a frog today. And like I said, if I would have, and that's a real special thing, I learned from fishing up here, but that's something you don't get many bites. But if they are, it's going to be a 2 to 4 pounder. And I think I could have done that more, but I run the risk of catching 4 fish that weigh 8 pounds instead of going and catching a bunch that weigh 14 or 15. So
I see that Senko sitting there.
Yep.
Is that the deal?
That's it right here. This is the deal.
Is that a Senko?
Yeah, this is a Gary Yamamoto Senko, 4-inch little Trocar 3-aught hook, 1/8 ounce tungsten, little Eagle Claw bobber stop. And just flipping this thing around, throwing it around. I caught some just throwing it around this morning even. For some reason, it doesn't matter if it's small. You get up in the north especially. It works everywhere. But especially up north, you can't not have this bait tied on. It's just amazing. It's as do nothing as it gets. But I think the deal is, on that light weight, this thing just kind of darts around. And I like to fish a tube a lot, being up north. But I've kind of gotten away from fishing tubes. I feel like I get just as many bites on this thing. And the deal with this is you hook them almost every single time. When you're fishing a tube, you lose so many of them, especially smallmouth. It's hard to get that tube in their mouth. You catch 90-some% of the fish that you hook that bite this thing, and that makes a big difference, especially in this format too.
Do you mind holding that up?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna switch gears a little bit here and let's talk about the weather today. I know there were a few rain showers in the area, so with the weather front moving through, did that change the way you were fishing at all?
You know, when the weather front come through, I wanted to get back down on the southern end and pick up my frog again. Because when them little windows of opportunity when you're frog fishing sometimes up here, or really anywhere, but I guess here you really know the key windows when they open up. When that storm started coming in, it would have took me a long time to get from where I was to where I needed to be. But I think if I could have ran on plain straight there, I'd have been down there throwing a frog and probably would have got a couple bites right before that front. And the guys, I think, on the southern end of the lake got the rain, and I didn't up on the north end too. And I don't like fishing. I feel like the rain a lot of times hurts the bite. So it kind of worked out that it stayed down there and I didn't go down there. But I think there was a window of opportunity definitely because I caught a couple right around that storm, that front coming in. I think that kind of reignited those fish a little bit into biting, definitely.
But it didn't hurt you any.
No, it didn't hurt at
Okay,
all.
out on top.
That's right. That's right.
You and I had a conversation the other day about the face of fishing getting younger, and you and Jacob Wheeler out there today, kind of a battle of the flat hat brims.
The flat brim battle. I guess it was, huh? Yeah, that's funny. I agree.
You come from a background where you were in competitive motorcycle racing.
Yeah.
Any similarities that you can bring from that type of competition to what you're doing here, especially when you got into kind of a one-on-one shootout there?
Yeah, I mean, from racing motocross, you just learn mentality. You know, you had to have a certain mentality to race, and I think it's the same thing with fishing. You got to have the right mind frame, or you're going to be a wreck. Especially in Major League Fishing, like nothing wrecks you more than this format because you're never out of it. You've never got it won all the way to the last minute, as you saw today. So the mentality from racing definitely has helped me carry over. And the biggest thing for me is I get so hyper and so revved up. And as I'm getting a little bit older, it's helping some. Like I'm starting to get a lot calmer. But you definitely got to have the right mentality to be able to hold it together and just get the job done. Because really at the end of the day, same with racing. It's about how fast you could ride the dirt bike. And fishing, it's about how well you can catch a bass. It has nothing to do with anything else, anybody around you. Even if they're hitting you on the racetrack or guys are cutting you off or beating you up on the leaderboard, it's still you against, yourself basically, or whatever you're trying to plan of attack is.
One follow-up question. You mentioned that you're never really out of it in Major League Fishing in the format. It kind of works the reverse way too. You had a slow first period, and you only boated, I got to look at my notes here, 3 scoreable bass, and they weighed 4 pounds, 10 ounces in the first period. And Jacob kind of got off to a pretty good start. It was probably pretty easy to get discouraged out there. Were you kind of discouraged there in the first period?
No, the first period I was just going through the process of where I needed to be. I felt like I was kind of getting aggravated because, not discouraged, but aggravated because I knew in my mind I was going to catch them. It's just how, right? So I spent that first period kind of exploring the largemouth bite and just wasn't feeling it. Like I caught that one, good one. I think it weighed 210 or something like that. But I caught that one good fish, and then that kind of made me go to the other end of the lake at that point and dig into what I ended up finding, throughout later in the day, which I think was the best way to fish this format, for sure. Had I got off to the right thing in the first period, I don't know. I just think it kept me guessing all day and fishing the moment all day, basically, that first period really did. Definitely didn't feel out of it at that time. And I think fishing and having that home field or just being from this area, I understand that it was just about figuring things out throughout the day.
Go Ohio!
That's right.
This is your first win with Major League Fishing. How does it feel? Explain that.
Feels awesome. I tell you, right at the end of the competition day today, Wheeler caught 2, and we was really close. So it wasn't until 5 minutes after, 10 minutes after, I got to feel like I actually won. It was never that intense moment where you knew you won. It was kind of that long, drawn out. But it's just, it's really cool. And like I said, it's really cool to do it at home or around an area. There's actually some guys out there that I didn't know really personally at the time that were out there following me and rooting me on and stuff and cheering. So that was really special to me.
That is
so it was cool.
So what are you going to do to prepare for the Challenge Cup?
Kind of same deal as here. I really didn't have a game plan much here. Like I really just whatever the fish are telling me to do. And I think it kind of played to my benefit that I hadn't fished the lake that we was on, right? And I'm more than likely not going to fish the lake we're going to. And just keep an open mind. And whatever the fish are telling you to do, don't be afraid to drop something just because you caught one. Don't be afraid to drop it and go do something different just because your gut tells you. And that's the biggest thing, because my best tournaments are whenever I let the fish tell me how to fish, and I'm just going with it. As soon as I sit there and I say, I'm going to catch them like this because I can catch them big or I can win, well, whatever, it just, most of the time it never, ever works out that way. So just try to keep an open mind, stay loose with it, and I think that's going to be the biggest key to catching them in the cup.
It looks like you had one penalty today. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, somehow I held it together all day, catching a lot of them little smallmouth and stuff. But it was a little smallmouth that I went to swing in the boat, and it just fell off and hit the carpet. After that, I started on the wee little ones I knew were going to fall off the hook. I was kind of grabbing them off the side of the boat, trying to grab a hold of them, keeping them from swinging them in the boat and hitting the carpet, and costing me 2 minutes for a fish that was not even scoreable. So